points. And when they look back on that, Tim, will they have a bit of relief that it could have got worse in the second half?
Could have got very nasty in that second period. I was hiding behind this table when I was watching. I mean, it was such a poor performance in the second half. They just blew a gasket there. I mean, I'm not sure about the changes what Nuno made as well. Listen, I thought when they first started the game was encouraged the way and Ndombele was getting on the ball, Lo Celso was busy, Dele Alli was getting on it, Sonny was, a threat up front. Harry Kane was dropping deep, far too deep in my opinion. In the second half you saw nothing of Kane, you saw nothing of Dele Alli, and Ndombele absolutely blew up, not fit enough. Lo Celso had to come off the field as well. There's so many players going down with cramp. Your main man Son was starved of any sort of service. It was a very, very poor performance in the second half and something he's going to need to look at. I think if you're going to play with that sort of intensity as you did at the start of the game, which they're capable of doing, we saw a large number of that squad play under Pochettino with a very high intensity. Under Jose it changed, it was a little bit more pragmatic. Now we haven't seen that intensity at the start of the game under Nuno so far this season, but we've seen 3 wins. But the writing's been on the wall for me. They've sat back. When they play at this stadium, the fans will not accept them sitting back. They did it against Watford. They got away with it because they won the game. Unless you're winning games, you have to play on the front foot. Now, he needs to get them fit enough to be able to do that. They've got the talent, and they're not going to play Chelsea. Let's have it right. They're not going to play Chelsea and the Man Cities and the Man Uniteds, Liverpool's every single week. But you need to play with identity. It's Tottenham Football Club. They expect a certain identity, and at the moment, I'm not sure what we are.
Only 5 games in, but going back to last season and the Champions League win, just how impressed are you with Chelsea and the way they're looking under Thomas Tuchel?
I think if I could describe them in one way, it would be efficient at the minute. They just do not look like conceding a thing. They look like, they don't look like scoring 5 or 6 goals, by the way, but they're just ruthlessly efficient at the moment. They've got a centre forward now that you expect him to cause danger every time he gets the ball. They've got a focal point that they can hit into him. They've got runners off him. They can cross the ball and expect him to be in there. As I say, they don't look like scoring at all. They've got a very solid base in midfield, big squad. I mean, they just look like they're a well-oiled machine at the minute. And even 1 or 2 injuries, as long as it's not to the main man up front, they look like they've got cover in every position as well. They're actually carrying 1 or 2 players as well that aren't really hitting it off at the moment. Verne has not been a good signing as of yet. Question marks about Havertz. He keeps playing him, but I'm still waiting to see, him put in some really good performances. So there's still a couple of players that you think expect to see a bit more out of, but even without them, they are just steamrolling at the minute.
They've just conceded 1 goal as well all season, Chelsea. Tim was talking about the atmosphere. Let's go back to the stadium and speak to Glenn Hoddle. What was it like, supporter-wise, second half inside the stadium, Glenn?
Well, it was very quiet. You could only hear the Chelsea fans, and rightly so, second half of the performance that they put in. Spurs were very poor. What the guys were saying there, they were very tepid and timid. My problem is with them, I couldn't see how they were trying to win the ball back. I think Chelsea's shape, they had no idea of how they were going to win the ball back. It was like in between all the time, and they just got a chase in second half. Let's face it could have been a lot more, couldn't it? But I think Nuno's got a lot of work to do. They're not fit yet, whether that's because of the training or whether it's because of too many players haven't trained enough yet or had match practice yet. But I don't think you can lean on that and then blame that. Chelsea went up a few gears, and Tottenham, quite frankly, couldn't stay with them.
Tim's point, in time, at home, with the fans back in the stadium now, they'll expect more than that, won't they, in terms of positivity?
Well, very much so. I think it's okay talking about pressing and you've got to have the fitness, you've got to have the energy to do that. You can't do that for 90 minutes. Certainly this squad at the moment, in the shape that they're in, they can't do it. But it's also when they had the ball. I've never seen a Spurs side off the ball have no movement. There was like mannequins. There was no movement at all. The back players, Dier and Romero, just had nowhere to go. They had nowhere to pass. Every white shirt was standing still for long periods. And in the end, I felt sorry for who was in possession of the ball. We've all been in teams like that, where it happens like that. You're going through that lack of confidence. And on this day, Chelsea had options left, right and centre. Their shape is a brilliant shape. three at the back and wing backs, when you're doing it right with the three in midfield, I thought the half time bringing Kante on there in midfield and making it a three in there, a real solid three, actually just overpowered Tottenham. And in the end, they were brilliant, and they deserve to be top of there. They are the best team in the country. There's no doubt about it at this moment in time. Reversing it, I thought City were going to be the team to be knocked off the top. I think it's Chelsea now. I think City have got a lot of work. It's a hell of a game. They play each other next week. I think it's Chelsea, the ones that are actually going to be in control, and who's going to knock them off their pedestal. They're a very efficient side, but they've got creativity as well. But my word, they defend and they know. Every time they had the ball, you just knew, every player knew where to be. Whether it was a midfield, the wing-backs on the opposite side of the pitch, were always in the right position. Tuchel, since he came in, has gone into a back three, and my word, he's got them playing it absolutely perfect. And that's why they're top of the league.
Nuno, really disappointing afternoon for yourselves. What did you make of it and how the game unfolded?
Yeah, disappointed. The first half was very good. First half, I think, we were very good, very good. The game had two halves, clearly. In the first half, I think we compete really well. We were the better team. We were in control, pressing high, creating situations. For 50 minutes, we held on until the first goal. After that, the game changed. It became very hard for the boys, very hard for us. Chelsea, a good team, good in possession, and created many problems. But the first half, if there are any positive,
do you think
Yeah.
you caught them by surprise with your tactic, your front three pushing high? You had them on the back foot, particularly, as you say, for that first 30 minutes.
Yeah. I don't know if we surprised them, but the idea was that clearly we needed to start the match really strong, and we did it. We did it with really good pressing, recovering the ball, creating situations. The plan was to score. There was a chance. There were chances to do it. We didn't do it. But like I said to you, the first half, fantastic.
What changed from your point of view in the second half? They obviously made a tactical tweak. Why do you think you weren't able to respond?
The set piece, the goal really was disappointing. The set piece, the team after that struggled to recover the control of the game. And like I said, Chelsea is a mature team. They are organized, they have experience. It became very hard for us.
Should you have done better on the set piece, do you think?
Of course, we should have done better on many aspects. That's what we say. Since we started, we have a lot of things to improve. Even when we did it, good results and good performance, we are aware that we have a lot to improve, a long way to go, and we keep on doing because the belief is here, the boys are working well, and we're going to push it.
Very different games, but that's back-to-back three.
The goals that you concede, but totally different games. That game of Crystal Palace is totally out of our memories. We have to. That game of Crystal Palace is totally out of our memories. We have to realize that was a different opponent, and at our home, our fans deserved better. But I think in the first 45 minutes was huge for us. Was huge. Now we have to get the platform to keep on going and sustain these levels of performance through all the game.
Thanks, Nuno.
Thank you. Thanks to you.